All right. I'm gonna
Now
get
they
my
just
dinner.
need to find Sinwar. That's a good way to end the war.
What, Bernie?
If they just need to find Sinwar now, then we'll have the war will be over.
I don't think it'll be over, but they're gonna fall apart.
At least you'll take the wind out of their sails.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. They'll start giving up, hopefully. All right, I'm getting my dinner.
So we can look at your face on your old picture.
Hello. Greetings.
Hello,
Mario. Are you underwater?
I'm in Hawaii.
I don't see you there. Are you surfing?
Oh, you know why?
Why?
Because I've got the camera reversed.
Oh.
I'm
there you
here
are.
now. I'm here. Where are you, home?
No, I'm in the desert.
Oh, you wanted to experience the 3 digits?
It's fine. That's no problem.
No? Was it very hot when you arrived?
It's like 103 or something.
Ah,
Yeah. What page are we on?
87. Using electric light as Shabbos candles.
87. Using.
Volume 16.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Today we had two very small bloods. You were in the, you were not.
Yeah, I was
yes,
there.
you were. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I was
were.
there.
You were.
Yeah. He did both of them.
Yeah.
We're all using those portable Shabbos candles when we go away for Shabbos.
Right.
The
Everyone
little
used
battery operated ones. But maybe the rugged shover didn't know about those.
it. Oh, it looks like the Israelis got the head of.
Yeah,
Hezbollah.
it's big news. We just heard it.
Wow!
In Iran.
That's
Wow!
amazing.
OMG! Oh, I'm sure Harris is going to be very upset now.
No, but you know, they don't say the Israelis.
Well, who do you think?
But
The
no. It could be
the Cambodians?
no, but you know, there's a lot of people in Iran that do not like the
That's true.
Ayatollahs and what they're doing.
Wow!
There's only one more, right? Sinwar.
Mario, come on, dream on. You know that it is the and it's confirmed. It's confirmed from Iran. If you saw the top of it.
What a crowd. I've never seen a crowd like that in
That was
LA.
amazing.
A long time.
He was good.
Yeah.
You know, he spoke at Shire Tzedek on Sunday.
Amazing!
News at 11.
That's just amazing. I think it was Olympic sport.
Killing on
Kill
the
Hezbollah.
You're on, because remember you're being.
Well,
Wow!
You're gonna tear you in the face.
Wow!
I think Nasrallah will be hiding pretty tightly right now.
One more to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to get that one.
Similar.
Then why would be better to get?
Yes.
Okay, Metz Hashem.
Yeah, we will.
Gotta cut the head off the snake over here.
I think we left off on page 87, using,
Using electric light.
that's what I think we left off. Thank you, Susie.
Thank you.
Okay. We saw previously, thank you, that post-game dispute whether one who did not light Shabbos candle but had electric lights on in the house is subject to the penalty mentioned by the Maril and the Ramo. Remember, we learned last week that if you didn't light 1 week, there's a penalty. Yishkoya. But we said that if the electric lights happen to be on, then you can avoid the penalty. But the question is a broader question. Can one fulfill the mitzvah by turning on electric lights? Do the factors of Kovod Shabbos, Onik Shabbos, and Shalom Bayis that we learned about, which were the reasons for the Hadlakas Neighbors, towards the beginning of the Shir mandate lighting with fire, is that specifically with fire? Or do they merely require that one light, some form of illumination for Shabbos? Some poskim, such as Rav Yosef Rosen, the Rogatchover, hold that, by the way, I've got to say this, Yaakov, the Yellens and us just came back from the trip to Central Europe with Mark Shapiro. So Mark Shapiro has podcasts, all the shiurim, and he gave me the link. If you just go on to Spotify and you can get all of his lectures. So I just finished the series that he had on it's called The Great Escape, when the Mir Yeshiva escaped from Europe to Shanghai. He has a four lecture series. And he mentioned Rav Pinchas Hirschsprung, who was a Gaon from Montreal, that there were a few people who were alive who knew Shas by heart. One of them was him, and then one of them was Rav Ovadia Yosef, and there was a second person that they discussed. But it was known that the Rogatchover would be able to do what's called the pin test. This was I was taught in yeshiva. The pin test is that not only did he have the photographic memory of such gaonus that, let's say Masechta Baba Basra has 175 blot, that if you took a pin and you put it through the Gemara, he would tell you what letter the pin went through. Now, I found that to be literally almost unbelievable, because if you think about it, every blot has a front page and a second page. So even if you had all those pages in front of you, so Mark, in his description of the pin test, didn't describe it the way my rabbis described it, which was that the letter, that if you put the pin, he would know which sugya on the page the pin went through. That makes a lot more sense, though, because you can organize a blot. Oh yeah, that's that sugya and that's that sugya. Now I have a lot more better understanding of the pin test. So I learned that just yesterday when I was listening to the shiur there. So so that's the Rogatchover.
It's very interesting in English.
So the Rogatchover held that one does not fulfill the mitzvah with electric lights. That Chazal mandated using fire for adlakas neiros. And it listed this oil, that oil. He's deducing from that they want fire. However, most poskim hold that one does fulfill the mitzvah, at least in certain cases. Rav Ben Zion Abba Shol writes, he's the Or L'Tzion, that battery-powered light may be used, but not light powered from AC power. AC power means light plugged in, or our electricity is AC powered. Now, what would be the difference? He explains that the fuel used for Shabbos lights must be present at the time of lighting, meaning when you light a candle, so the fuel is the wax in the candle, the fuel is there. If you use oil and you have a wick, so the fuel is there. Now, the fuel for the AC lights is not here, it's at the nuclear power plant, or it's at the turbine, the coal, or the gas, or the water power, whatever. The fuel is not here. But a battery the fuel is there. It's a chemical transformation that occurs in the battery that produces the current. So that's a very interesting chap. After Lakai Mitzvah Sadlokas Neros Ba'or Chashmal, he says it might be possible to fulfill Adlokas Neros with electricity. Va'af bimnerat fluorescent she'ein bachut loheid. A fluorescent light doesn't have a glowing wire. It's like it's got gas in there, and the gas lights up. She'iman hanora mechuberet l'zorem klali. If the bulb is connected to the general electric flow, mishum shebechashmal kol rega magia zerem chadash. He says there's new energy coming every second. Sheklal lo shaykh ladlaka rishonah. Therefore, the first hadlaka, let's say you turn the light on, but the next second it doesn't flow from the same hadlaka. That light that continues to burn or to illuminate is not considered that he lit it. This is also quoted as being the position of Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, who was mamish an expert in electricity. He studied it. He wrote extensively on electricity. Rav Moshe Feinstein, as quoted orally by Rav Simcha Bunim Cohen, takes a different, somewhat in-between position. In his opinion, one may fulfill the mitzvah with electric lights, but enough certainty remains that one should not recite a bracha on them. Most authorities, this is the book, The Radiance of Shabbos by Rav Cohen, he states most authorities of the opinion that one may indeed fulfill the mitzvah with electric lights and may even recite the customary bracha over them. However, Hagon Rav Moshe Feinstein saw dissents and rules that one should not rely upon electric lights for the fulfillment of the mitzvah. He therefore rules that in circumstances with no other choice exists, one should use them, but no bracha should be recited. Of course, you're talking about being in a hospital where there's oxygen flowing, may be dangerous to use a flame. They won't allow you to use a flame. But according to Rav Moshe, you shouldn't make the bracha. Many poskim hold that one may completely fulfill the mitzvah with electric lights in all cases. Rav Ovadia Yosef quotes Rav Tzvi Pesach Frank, who was the posek in Israel at the time of the establishment of the state, as writing that there's no requirement for the fuel powering the light to be in the house at the time of lighting, as the mitzvah is merely to ensure that there will be light in the house. A similar ruling is given by Rav Elyashiv. It should also be noted that a number of earlier poskim also allowed turning on electric lights to fulfill the mitzvah. Rav Yosef Eliyahu Henkin, who was, as we know, the posek before Rav Moshe in America, and the Tzitz Eliezer. So there is a plethora of poskim that seem to allow this. Says the Ovadia Yosef in the Abiyah Omer, Hagon Rav Tzvi Pesach Frank, Bahar Tzvi Alatur, Nis Orer Bazeh was like aroused The cause of shafilu nemar shadavka or rishon ba mikocho, that even if the first light does come directly from his koach, and then whatever light emerges from the electric bulb afterwards, which really doesn't come from his koach, el koach sheni. So aval pichen yotzim boydei chovas mitzvah. Rav Tzvi Pesach Rek wasn't concerned about that. It's nothing to do with koach rishon or koach sheni. Sheikara mitzvah shiei orba bayis. We need light in the house. K'mo shekasav Rambam, Shulchan Aruch. Echad anoshim chayav liyos bevateim ner dolok b'Shabbos. That men and women require light in their house. The aim is neiru Shabbos etzem adlaka. Ela ishtadlus shiya ner dolok b'bayis. You have to have an ishtadlus, energy and activity to make sure that there's light in the house, but not that there's hadlaka. For example, by Ner Chanukah, there the mitzvah is hadlaka oisa mitzvah, right? This is in contradistinction to Ner Chanukah, where there you have to actually be madlik with your koach, the ner. Here they're saying by hadlaka Shabbos, it's not the act of hadlaka that's of issue, but it's the fact that you're having light. Among those that permit fulfilling the mitzvah using electric lights, some allow fluorescent and LED lights as well, since again, the goals of Adlakas Neres are achieved through these lights as well. Others though, allow lighting only with incandescent bulbs that have a filament, which is more similar to an actual fire.
Sorry, that
Yes?
raises the question about if you think if the Iker is leaving lights on throughout the Shabbos, then would that create a problem for using a Shabbos clock that automatically shut off the lights at certain times of the night? Should the light be on through all of Shabbos?
No, we haven't said yet. We said primarily for the Suda is when you need the light. So there's no requirement that it stay on all night. So there, if you have some kind of system that shuts it off, as long as that's done in the proper halachic way, it probably shouldn't be a problem that the lights are.
It says Shei Ner Dolok B'Bayis. It doesn't specify during the Suda. It's
Yeah, it did.
Shabbos.
But we learned last week the whole purpose of Kavod and Oinig is during the Suda. Is that
Shalom bias.
Shalom bias, so you shouldn't trip, you should see what's going on, but not necessarily that it be. There's no requirement that the lighting has to last all of Shabbos. It has to be for the first Suda, and usually during the daytime.
A candle does it, and a candle lasts 4 hours.
Right. There's no requirement for that.
I'm just talking about the Lashon, that's all.
Yeah, but the Lashon is showing that it's a passive Lashon. That, notice it says, Chayovim liyos bebateyem ner doluk b'Shabbos. The requirement for men and women is that they have to ensure that there is a light burning in their home at the time when it's supposed to be, which is primarily the Suda. Meaning it doesn't say chayiv lahadlik ner. It says chayiv liyos bebateyem ner doluk. That's a passive language. And that's what Rav Tzvi Pesach Frank is being medayik here. But we shouldn't be medayik. That means it's got to be there all the time. Rav Avadia himself writes, Rav Elyashiv allows non-incandescent bulbs. So Rav Elyashiv was mekel. He said you could use LED and other fluorescent lights. The Beis Yitzchak would not allow, since his allowance focused on the presence of a filament that burns within the electric light, which is not present in fluorescent or LED. Rav Avadia Yosef himself writes elsewhere that although in principle it is possible to recite the bracha over electric lights, where possible one should also use oil or candles, so that it's clearly recognizable that one is lit it specifically out of deference to Shabbos. I mean, we walk into our rooms every night and open up the light. So he wants to make the point that if you just did that, you could say, well, you open up the lights in your dining room every night when you walk into it. So by lighting it with candles or wicks or oil, It's a clear demonstration that you're doing it because of Shabbos. This point will be discussed in further detail at the end of this year. It should also be noted that Rav Ovadia writes that one may turn on the electric lights after lighting the candles. However, as will be discussed in the next year, Ashkenazi women are required in most cases to accept Shabbos when lighting the candles or reciting the bracha. Therefore, turning on the electric lights may constitute an interruption between the lighting of the candles and the recitation of the bracha. Many authorities prefer not reciting a bracha on electric lights, at least lechatchila, when an actual flame is available. Consequently, some Ashkenazi poskim recommend turning on the electric lights before lighting the candles, or asking a different household member to turn on the light immediately after the candles are lit, to avoid that problem that she was makabel Shabbos already. Says the Yechavedas, which is the Shalos and Shuvas of Rav Ovadia Yosef, B'makom she'efshar la'asig ner shemen or shava, if you can acquire a oil or candle type of ner, b'vadai shadif lotzis b'midei choves adlakas ner shel Shabbos v'yontav. He says there's a preference to light those for Shabbos and Yontav over electric lights. Kiven sheyesh b'hem heker miyuchad, there's a clearly recognizable factor, shenasu l'kovet Shabbos v'yontav, that this is an act that you've done specifically for kovet Shabbos and Yontav. V'nochel l'chavin b'bracha shekorim adlaka liftor b'brachasu games adlakas hachashmal sheyadlik lachar mikein. And when you make the bracha prior to the hadlakas haneros, you should have in mind the electric lights that you're going to turn on. Mikol makom b'makom she'ein efsharu b'shum panim lasig ner shemen or shava. But if you cannot obtain oil or candle, efshar l'varech u'lahadlik b'neres chashmal, you can make the bracha and then light the electric candles. V'yotzim b'midei choivas hadlak. Where should one light? We saw earlier in source 13 that according to the Mishnah Berurah, one recites the bracha upon lighting in the place where one eats. In this section, we will deal with other scenarios regarding this. May one eat somewhere else? What is the halacha if one wishes to eat the Friday night meal in a place other than where the candles are lit? Let's say you lit it in your dining room, but that Friday night you want to eat in your breakfast room. Furthermore, what happens if one accepts Shabbos early, called making early Shabbos, and one begins the meal while it is still light outside? And these questions are relevant for for northern countries where it might stay light till 11 o'clock at night, regarding the chiyuv of hadlakas neros. To answer this question, let us look at the following ruling of the Sefer Aguda. The Aguda writes that if one eats before it gets dark, one may eat in a different location than where the candles are placed, as they are unnecessary in any case. But one must ensure that the light of the Shabbos candles will be used after dark. Uvekayitz, in the summer, yachol le'echol lo'orayom, shelo b'mokom haner, you can eat your Friday night meal in a different location, not where the candles are. Uvekayitz yasu neros aruchim. In the summer, you should make sure to use longer length candles. Shelo yichbu koren laila. So they shouldn't extinguish prior to when it's dark. V'im lo yasu kein avi bracha levatala. The bracha that you made will be a bracha levatala. The shroga b'tira my ma'anya. A candle in the bright of day doesn't help anything. This ruling of the Aguda appeared in Shulchan Aruch, which offers the specific example of one who eats outside in the courtyard while it's still light outside and the candles were lit inside. Hamadlikin bizavios habayis. Somebody lit in a corner of the house, but v'oichlin b'chotzer, but you're going to eat outdoors. Im eina neros aruko shedolekas adalayla. If the candles are not long enough, heavy bracha levatala, so the Shulchan Aruch is warning you to make sure you use long candles. Elsewhere, the Shulchan Aruch mentions two views regarding whether one may recite Kiddush and eat in a different place from where the candles were lit. He favors the view that one may eat in a different place if this will be more enjoyable. Yesh oimim she'ein mekachim el or aner. One opinion is you should make kiddush only where the candles are. By the way, it's a Hasidic minig, and it's brought in the Belzer Zmiris that we have, that Ner is 250. And therefore, Ney rose, 2 candles is 500. And the Gemara says, no, Nun Reish, it's 250. So Ney rose is 500. The Gemara says that somebody who takes a Psia Gasa, you lose like 1/500th of your eyesight, or something like that.
What's a psia gasa?
No, it means if you're haughty, if you have a certain haughtiness, there's like a punishment. And so therefore, there's a skula to look at the candles while you're making kiddush.
Oh, we always do that.
We have that many because of Neiros and it returns your eyesight. So that lechura is a reason to say that you should make kiddush where the Neiros are. Okay. So says the Shulchan Aruch, "V'yeshomer she'ena kiddush totally b'ner." One has nothing to do with the other. V'munena b'chatzer yosef b'nei ha'avir b'nei ha'azvuvim. And lechura, the year of Yosef Karo's time, I guess there were more flies indoors than outside, because it looks like it's more pleasant to eat outdoors where there are less flies, or let's say it's nicer weather outdoors. You can be makadosh b'chatzer v'oichel sham. You can make your kiddush there, eat there. Aval pishen roa ner, if you know it doesn't see the ner. Shaneros lo oinig, nitztavu v'lo l'tzar. Neros were established to make you happy, not to cause you pain. However, the Mishnah Berurah sides with the poskim who write that one should only rely on this lenient view if eating in the place of the candles will cause severe distress. The Mishnah Berurah also explains that the Shulchan Aruch also allows lighting candles that will be extinguished before dark if one eats inside next to them, because one still enjoys them there. That means, let's say the room is not that bright, and you made Shabbos early, and you lit the candles, and you benefited from the light while you're eating. So even if the candle's extinguished before dark, the Mishnah Berurah is going to say that it'll work, right? Even if they extinguish during the day, though preferably they should be long enough to last until nighttime. So, like you or me? So I lekaman sof simin reish ayin gimel b'mogen avron tesva de'ein muter lechol b'chotzer rak davka b'mitztar harbe b'veiso mishum zvuvim v'chayotze. That means the only permission to eat outdoors in a courtyard and not by where the neighbors are is if it's extremely uncomfortable indoors because of flies or other. Maybe it's very hot indoors, and outside it's maybe cooler. So the according to Mogen Avram, that says you should be makpid to eat where the neiros are. And the chotzer mashmadim oichel b'bayis av she'ein dolekes halalayla sagi. It's enough. If you ate in the house with the candles and you benefited from the candles, even if the candles are not going to burn till nightfall, it's okay. V'lo brach lebatala. And it gets around from that problem that we said, it's a brach lebatala. Sometimes if you will not sort of benefit from the candles in the dark. By the way, there's like people like to dine by candlelight. It's a certain, maybe a romantic feeling or maybe a covetic feeling. Like you go to the White House, perhaps they will light candles on the table just as a sign of, even if it's not necessarily dark, it's a sign of festivity. Huh? Restaurants will come by and light candles sometimes, and maybe not necessarily that it's dark. So, he says it's certainly preferable to make sure that you have candles that will last till nightfall. But it'll work b'di'evet. According to all views, then, one must light in a place where the light will be beneficial. One who lights in a place where no use will be made of the light has not fulfilled his obligation. We can infer from here that in the case where one's family leaves the house to eat the Friday night meal away from home before dark, the candles lit at home must still be burning when the household returns. Otherwise, you won't benefit from them. Alternatively, the Piskei Tshuva points out that if one includes the electric light in the mitzvah of lighting candles as recommended above, it will be sufficient to make use of this light after arriving home from the meal. So even if your candles have burnt out by the time you come home from your guest, but you had in mind when you made the bracha of lighting the candles, the electric lights, and you made sure that the electric lights were turned on, either by you or by somebody else, because you were Makabel Shabbos at the time of lighting. So if when you come home, that light, the electric light's still going to be on, then it's not a problem of the bracha levatala. It's a way around it, says the Piskei Tshuvos. They're staying at a guest and they're lighting their own candles, or at a hotel or an inn. And they're going to leave that place before it's dark. And they're going to go out to a restaurant, or they're going to eat at somebody's house. Think about it. You go to a hotel. We were in Florida Friday night. You lit candles in the room. Correct?
I don't remember.
Or I mean, you lit, and then we went out to eat to the Costco. So when you come back, if the neighbors are not being or have burnt out, you haven't benefited from it.
Yeah, but if you leave a light on.
So if you leave, so that's what they're saying. If you turn the electricity on, and you're going to in some place, maybe even in the bathroom, and you'll benefit from it. So that it's not going to be a problem with the bracha levatala. Right? It's a bracha levatala. Elayesh lizar, la'anus maneres kishikvar chashecha. You should try to benefit from the light before you leave. V'lav davka zol she'adlika ubir chalaneros. Not just the candles that you lit. Elagam im adam acher ba l'sham v'nenem or aneros. Maybe not you benefited. Maybe somebody else benefited. Shapir dami shlo teh bracha levatala. And then he says, "Uvizmanenu me'anochon she'adlikus or chashmal tekef umiyad samach l'dakas aneros." You should make sure to light the candles. To turn on the electric lights right before, right close to the adlokas aneros, and have that in mind when you make the bracha for adlokas aneros. Begam yarvichu b'zeh, and you will benefit. Shafilu aneros kfar yikvush kishabayim l'sham. When you come back home from wherever you went and your candles have gone away, your electric lights are still on. You're going to benefit from that. So, very good advice. May multiple people light in the same location. Another important question about the proper location for lighting candles and reciting the bracha pertains to a situation of multiple people lighting candles in one house. For example, one is hosting another family for Shabbos, or more than one. Should all of the women light candles together in the same location? So the Rishonim dispute this. And the Maril, right, the German, the Ashkenaz posek, the Rishon, brings this dispute. You have two families, 2 or 3 families that are eating in the same house. Each should make their own adlokas laneros. Now, l'chora, what did we say with the purpose of the lighting is to have light? Well, they have light, so why would each have to light? The Or Zarua was a Rishon. In fact, we see the kever of the Or Zarua. The Or Zarua was from Vienna. And he talked about the Or Zarua when we were in Vienna. I'm not sure we saw his kever, and I forgot. Avagav Or Zarua Gam Game Bezeh. Huh?
I certainly didn't, was going, I didn't go to the.
Right. I don't think we did. I don't think we went to any kvaros in Vienna, but he told us that the Or Zarua was in Vienna. Mikol Makom Yesh Minagim Achi. That's the minig, that multiple candles should be lit. Uvanias Daiti Nirli Liyashav to call Madim in Tosef Ora. He says the fact that multiple candles will be lit will be more light. Yesh po shalom bayis tfei, so there's more shalom bayis. The simcha yisrael anas ar b'chol zavis v'zavis in all the corners of the house. So according to the Maril, one is permitted to recite a bracha anytime that the candles add additional light, even if there are other candles already lit. According to the Or Zarua, perhaps the bracha upon the candles may only be recited when they add a significant amount of light that was not present previously. When the Shulchan Aruch codified the halacha, he mentioned both views and ruled stringently to avoid making a bracha in a case of doubt. However, the Ramah rules that several people may each light in the same place with a bracha, for the reason that the Maril gave. Shnayim or shloishim balabatim oichli makom echad. Yesh shomim shekol echad mevarach al menorah shelo, which was the Maril. Yesh megamgem bedavar. He was hesitant about it. V'nochel nizar b'savik brachos. That was the Or Zarua. V'lo yivarach ele echad. Says the Ramah, aval anu ein noagim kein. We have each family recite their own bracha. The Mishnah Berurah suggests a solution to allow each family to make their own bracha according to both views. If each family stays in their own room, they may light candles in that room with a bracha, even if they do not eat there. This question of reciting a bracha when one is not home for Shabbos, but has a separate room, is discussed in more detail in the next year. And they have to be cognizant of safety concerns when lighting in a separate bedroom. You're invited as a guest to someone's house, and usually you're going to be given your own room. So Aval Bishena Oichel Sham, even though he doesn't eat there, there's nothing that is even for the purpose of achila, like cooking. He says you can make the bracha there, and you may benefit because you're going to be benefiting from the light. Otherwise, because it's dark.
A perfect example is a hotel stay. You're staying in a hotel over Shabbos. You'll light in your room, even though you're not eating there.
Correct, but sometimes, let's say, you're invited to it's a wedding. Excuse me, there's a wedding weekend, Sheva Brachas weekend. So people sometimes will go and light in the shul. Everyone, right? You know, they'll have, where the tzibur is gathered, everybody will light there. But yes, you could do it that way as well. I think sometimes for safety concerns, you know, they're concerned about lighting it in the hotel room and then leaving. So
No, obviously, I'm talking about battery lit candles.
battery lit candles, right? Which we said is a good option according to the Shut or Tzion regarding that. Absolutely. Let us try to apply what we have learned to the common question of where to light candles when spending Shabbos or Yontif in a hotel. Bernie's question. It would seem that one should ideally light with a bracha in the dining hall where people eat, similar to the ruling of the Mishnah Berurah in source 13 concerning lighting at home. If this is possible, Ashkenazi may light there, despite the fact that one location is often set aside for many people to light together. But that's based upon the Ramah, who permits multiple people to light in the same location. So now we understand where all these halachas are coming from. When you go and you see they set up a table, then you see 50 different candles being set up, it's based on this Ramah. The Piskei Tshuva notes that even when lighting in the dining room, ideally one should light close to the location where one is eating, as we have seen above. You should light the candles sort of close to the table that you're going to be sitting. Don't light it in some corner, far away from where they're eating. In contrast to Ashkenazim, Sfardim would not be permitted to recite a bracha in this situation, according to Shulchan Aruch. Remember, the Shulchan Aruch says, he was concerned about the Or Zarua, who said that it may be a bracha l'atola because not enough light is being added when you're adding, when somebody's already lit before. So he was concerned about the bracha. So that's why he says Sfardim would not be permitted to recite a bracha, according to Shulchan Aruch, who was stringent about this. Instead, Sfardim would need to do as follows. One woman would recite the bracha and light candles, while the rest listen and answer Amen. They may then light their own candles without a bracha in the dining room. So that's how Sfardim do. I mean, our wives don't know that because they're not Sfardim, I don't think.
So in Budapest, remember the women lit on the top floor, we ate on the bottom floor, Carmel restaurant.
Go ahead, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a problem because
Yeah.
the chora we should have lit. Yaakov is saying in Budapest, we ate in a restaurant that was sort of in a basement, and the women lit on the first floor while we went downstairs. And technically, based on this, it would not be ideal because we didn't do it close to where we were eating, where they said it should be done lechatchila to do it that way.
But a hotel has different halachas. You should know that. So, first of all, because you can't just, it's a guarded place. It's not your own home. So in your own home, of course, you have to light b'makom suda. But in a hotel, I've seen many times, right, because you're not supposed to light in your room or that kind of thing. That's why you put on electric. But even if they allow you to light, so there's a special place for us to light. They don't just allow you to light in any one place. So I mean, that's what the problem is.
Right, but they're talking about a hotel where there's a chadar, there's like where you're eating in a ballroom where there's a sheva brachas or whatever the event is happening, a bar mitzvah.
Yeah, but
they set up that table usually in the dining hall.
No, even when you go on Pesach programs,
Yes.
they don't allow lighting in the ballroom. They don't allow lighting in the ballroom where everybody eats. I've never seen that. So people, the woman light outside. It's always been like that. Even when you go to the Hilton Hotel, right? There's a separate makom shamur for lighting candles, and then people go to eat. It's not in the place of the chadar.
That's right.
Okay, but okay.
You're right.
What about what I brought up last week? Is there any requirement that if you're going to be a guest in someone else's house that you must light in your house and stay there for any period of time before you go?
I don't know yet.
Say it again.
We talked about this last week.
Yeah, but I
We
didn't
don't.
say the-
Maybe we have more.
We've learned that if you're a guest, they advise that you could light in your bedroom. You don't have to
I'm
light.
not talking about staying in the other person's house. I'm talking about you live 3 blocks away from somebody. It's Friday,
Yes,
Shabbos meal.
yes,
They're going to invite you for a meal,
yes.
okay? Typically, you would go to their home and light your candle there.
Or
No.
no, I light at home.
That's what we said. You can light it.
I always light at home.
And remember, we said, you got to make sure that you have long enough candles so that you have to benefit from that light. So if
Okay.
you go Friday night to dinner somewhere else,
Light still.
no, as long as you come home and the candles are still lit, so you can benefit from it, because when you lit it early and it was daylight, you
benefit.
didn't benefit from it.
Or if you have.
So they said, or when you light the candles, turn on the electricity. So when you come home, you will be benefiting from that light, and that's enough so that the bracha that you make before you left is not a bracha levatol. That's so
That's what you can
you don't
tell
have to
people.
light. You don't have to light at the other person's home. You can light at your own home.
He knows that. He's saying that he knows
I'm saying,
somebody,
is
he
there-
knows somebody who
Is there
said
a
to him,
requirement that you have to light at home and stay 20 minutes before you can leave the house to go to someone?
No,
else's
there's
house?
no requirement to stay.
That's-
For the reason
Right,
we
that's
just
the
said.
question.
For the reason we just said, as long as you turn on electric lights or you have candles long enough that they're still going to be lit when you come home, because there is a din of
That part
of
is
benefiting from it.
turning electric
They want to
lights.
say, what they were doing is they were waiting a
It's
period
like
of time
in
until it
condos.
was dark, so they could benefit from the light. But they could do it when they come home.
Mhm.
That's what you
Okay.
can tell them.
The difficulty with the suggestions given, however, and here's where Walter comes in, is that many hotels instruct all women to light candles in a specific area of the hotel lobby that has nothing to do with the dining room. Since this is not one's room or one's place of eating, Rav Mordechai Eliyahu writes that one may not recite a bracha in such a location and has not fulfilled the mitzvah, since this qualifies neither as one's room or as the location one eats. This problem is irrelevant for Sephardim as well, as one woman will still need to recite the bracha in the designated location. The same ruling is given by the Shmira Shabbos Kilchasa, Rav Moshe Feinstein, and many other poskim, that you should not make a bracha and have not fulfilled the mitzvah if you light your candles in that place that the hotel designates that's neither not your room nor the eating place.
I don't know, because you have mashgichim and you have rabbis in every Pesach program, and you have mashgichim in every hotel, and you have all these people. So they're not going according to halacha. It's hard to understand.
So Rav Eliyahu does allow for lighting in a place where coffee and cake are served after the meal, since one then does benefit from the light while eating. So could this lobby, is this a place that desserts are served or something?
This is called a tea room. Every hotel has a program, has a tea room.
Yeah, but
after-
Ernie,
Is that where they light? Is that
No.
designated the place for the light?
No, they designate. The problem is, I mean, just telling you today, the problem is a lot of the rooms which they have, right, have these things which they go off, right? The alarms go off, the fire alarms go off, the sprinklers go off. They have designated places where you can light a candle. It's not so simple.
Okay, you're reading the same thing I'm reading.
I get it. I know, but so obviously I have to stay at home from now on.
No.
I tell my wife I'm
You
staying.
can light with a battery-operated menorah in your hotel room.
No, we always light in a hotel room. We light electric candles.
There you go. That's your answer.
We take Shabbos candles to every place we go, and like on the boats and everything. A boat, you're not allowed to light a candle, for sure not.
So that's your answer. You take electric candles, which we said,
and you light in your room. That's
and you light in your room. We certainly saw the Or Tzion says you can make a bracha, your Makaya Mitzvah Sadlaka, with a battery-operated light. And that, but Lechora, every Rav Eliyahu, Shmira Shabbos, Moshe Feinstein say that you may not recite a bracha, and you not fulfill the mitzvah if you've lit it in this area that the hotel is set up. I can't answer you about the mashgichim and the rabbanim, and I have no answer for that. You can show them this and have them show you what they're relying on.
Little things, I don't know.
They've got strong scent vanilla candles. It's okay.
No, they need something to spray.
Yeah.
Let's see the Maimer Mordechai.
Oh God, please.
Mordechai Eliyahu.
You know what? I can go on the way home or something.
Like lights like this, like you?
Is that battery operated?
I'll pray
Oh, yeah.
at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
gonna start bothering.
Derech Klal, here's showing, this is a battery operated candle. I'm not sure how it works, but
Available on Amazon?
Yeah, you can get it from Amazon.
this is an LED, which we said was okay.
Some people said it wasn't okay, but some people said it
No.
was. And then you have these.
And then you can put it in this glass thing,
Yeah.
and that's
Ernie,
it.
it's very interesting. And I went ahead a little bit. I'm speaking of the LED, and I had discussions with Einhorn a few years ago about LED versus incandescent, and there is a significant difference that I haven't seen here.
Yeah, Henry Chaim, we learned it already with tonight. We said
You wouldn't follow
that-
my steps.
Rav Yoshev allows even non-incandescent bulbs. The Beis Yitzchak says you need to have a filament that burns, which is
Right,
not.
the filament that burns is very critical, and it has also issues with muktzah on Shabbos as well. And
What has issues with muktzah?
So the question of whether, give me a question, a common question. If one accidentally flips on a switch on Shabbos and turns on a light, if the light is an LED versus an incandescent, the incandescent is an issue of B or of lighting a fire, mamash a fire.
And LED is not. LED is
not.
only rabbinic.
So the thing is, if Bamemad Likin, if the issue is lighting a candle, which is is it the light or is it the fire?
We learned tonight that it's the hechatimtza, that the room has to be illuminated, but that there's no mitzvah hadlaka like by Ner Chanukah. We learned that tonight.
So why are they saying by lighting it?
As the Feirush, that it does not have to be incandescent.
They say turning on a switch is not. There's a question of whether you can make a bracha on that. Would there be a definite question of making a bracha on an incandescent versus an LED?
No, he said both. We learned that tonight. Some allow fluorescent and LED lights as well, because the goals of Adlokas Ners are achieved through those lights.
Less lighting.
Others say that you have to be similar to fire. That's the Beis Yitzchak. But you have Rav Yoshev to rely on.
LED is okay.
Did this work? Did you?
It used to work.
Okay.
Now you know what to do. You gotta go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see the Maimer Mordechai. B'derech klal hanalat beit hamalon eina marsha ladlik ners b'chadarim mitamei b'tichot. Like Walter said, hotels, because of security reasons, are not permitting to light candles in their rooms. Umaksim makom belobi amalon. They designate a place in the lobby, the chadoime. Shabo kol anoshim madlikos, and that's where the women light. He says, he says, if it's done that way, you may not make a bracha. Even it has to be a place where a place where they benefit. You don't fulfill your obligation. If it's in the room, like Bernie said, the tea room, where there's going to be a snack, or b'cheder ha'ochel itself, so Isha Ashkenazia shemablika neres tamid yichol levarech. So he says the Ashkenazic women can light themselves and make a bracha. Isha Tzvardiya, she give arata sheyesh kvar neres dolkim tadlik below bracha. Let's say she was there and she wasn't there when the woman made a bracha. She answered amen. She should light but make no bracha. According to Rav Eliyahu, even if the candles are lit in the lobby, perhaps one could also bring some food there after the meal and eat it nearby. That's benefiting from the candles. So,
Hotel's not gonna be happy about that
yeah,
either.
they're not going to be happy about that, but I guess that's a way you could take a wander out of the Chadar Ochel and go to there that is and have and chew on a little piece of cake. Rav Nissim Karelitz writes in the Chut HaShani regarding a family who eats elsewhere Friday night and returns later in the evening. He says, "After shemachrei shechozrim leveitam mesudat el Shabbos yitamu ezu divrei achil b'mokum haneros." When you come back from being a guest at somebody else's house Friday night, you should eat a little nash by the candles. It's another reason why it was okay for you to make the bracha before you left. Like Moshe Kosev and Mishnah Berurah, Mishtamish from Tzorach Achila, that it's really a Tzorach Achila that's important. The Piskei Teshuvos offers a different solution based upon an idea discussed earlier. Just as recommended to turn on the electric lights in one's house shortly before after lighting candles so that they can be included in the bracha, so too with respect to lighting in a hotel, one could do the same thing. V'im tadlik b'chedra at orach hashmal, the Kovet Shabbos. you turn on the electric lights in your hotel room. ומייד ללא הפסק, תלך למקום מיועד להדלקה ותדליק ותברך. And then without a hefsek, you go downstairs to that hotel designated spot and you light your candles, they're shopper tfei, that'll work. Afilu hu b'pina nisters, even if it's in an isolated corner. The shuv ein b'zeh bracha l'vatola. The brachos okai gam al orach hashmal shebechedra. Because you are benefiting from the light in your room that you lit before you went downstairs to light those candles. So now we have another solution. If you don't, if you didn't bring those electric candles, you don't have them to light in your room, you can turn on the electric lights, go downstairs to wherever that public lighting is, light the candles, and your bracha then will fulfill because you will benefit from the lights that are in your room.
Small problem, how are you gonna fall asleep at night?
Well, you could turn on the light in the bathroom because you benefit from that light. You don't have to have the light, in the whole room. I think you could be modeling those lights. You're gonna be nana from that. Okay. So say again.
I'm not convinced that a bathroom is a place for Makom Kodesh,
Yeah.
So I'm not
It doesn't
convinced
say
that
Makom Kodesh. It says you have to be nana from it.
you're nene from a toilet light. You're not allowed to go into a toilet with anything else, that. So it's a bathroom.
No, nana means it's gonna help you get dressed. It's shalom bayis. It's not just food. It's that you're not gonna trip. So when you open up the bathroom door and the light shines into the room, so it can help you see, that's shalom bayis. Because of this issue, or if you turn the lights on, you're not gonna be able to sleep at night. I don't think that, I think that could be a solution. What was Hyla's question?
No, night lights.
Say again?
Those
Night lights.
Every hotel room has a plug.
Yes.
Disconnect your phone or whatever your electronics are.
Yes.
Put a night light.
So is that good? Because we use nightlight.
We
bring
use
night
nightlights
lights
when we
in the
travel.
hotel.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Why not?
And then.
They're suggesting putting in yeah, but you have to do it at that time. You put the nightlight in.
So what kind of candle does he bring?
He's
What does
suggesting
Walter
putting
bring?
night
I
lights,
want one of these.
plugging in a nightlight in your room.
Let him buy them.
That's like turning, and that way it's not
It doesn't
mafriya.
keep you from sleeping, and it's very.
Yeah.
Put them in certain
Why,
corners.
so it's LED, and we said LED is okay, according to those shitas. So that might be another solution.
Or you can do this business, right? For $4, you can buy 12 of them.
You want to send us the links? Susan?
I'll show you. This
Susie's
one-
gonna send a link about the
Electric
lights that you can
$4.
buy from Amazon. Susie's a good shopper. So I'm going to ask for comments, questions, any other issues. I think very illuminating tonight.
Oh, you shine. You're a poet. You don't know it. That's okay.
Really go back to Paul's question. You wonder how this is all going on. Allah seems pretty clear.
Yeah, Yaakov is wondering exactly what Walter said. How could it be
Because they're
that in all
involved.
these hotels, Hashgacha, Rabban, the halacha is very clear. It's black and white here.
Maybe the mashgiach eats a piece of cake by the candles. As he comes back, he eats a piece of cake. I don't know. All I can tell you is that it happens. It also happens in every Badatz hotel in Israel the same way. Don't think it doesn't happen. They do not light candles in the Chadar Ochel, in the place. They don't. Just go check. You'll see.
Okay. So we have questions to ask. On your next trip, you're gonna show up as a London with a lot of questions.
Go check. You'll talk to the mashgiach. And you'll tell them it's nicht kein Gitter Platz too.
Ernie Shkoyach, you really
I'll kick you out.
really lit it up tonight.
Okay.
Okay. Shkoyach, everybody.